Hi students, and today we're going to take a look at factoring polynomials. So you might recognize this one from one of our previous videos. This was the solution after multiplying a monomial and a trinomial. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get back that original statement. So just like division is the opposite or the undoing of multiplication, factoring a polynomial is the undoing or the opposite of multiplying them. So we're going to start off with GCF. What we're looking for is what's the greatest common factor that can divide 12, 9, and 21. So what we see is that they're all divisible by 3, and 3 is the largest number that divides all these values. So what we can do is we can factor out a 3. So what we do is we have a 3 outside of our bracket. So now, what's negative 12ab to the 4 divided by 3? And that's the idea of factoring it out. Well, I'd be left with negative 4a b to the 4. If I divide 9a cubed b squared by 3, I'm left with 3a cubed b squares. And if I divide negative 21ab squared by 3, I'll get negative 7a b squared. So that's our first step in the factoring process. But notice that we're not quite done yet because we have these variables, and there's greatest common factors for variables as well. The idea is that what's the largest thing that all of these three terms have in common? So, for instance, notice how they all have at least one a. So I can also factor out a single a. I'll be left with negative 4 b to the 4 plus 3 a squared b squared minus 7 b squared. So we're undoing the multiplication of an a. So for instance here, if I take out or divide this a, there's nothing left in its place. If I divide a cubed by a, it reduces its degree by 1. And here again, if I just have a single a and I divide it out, there's nothing left in its place. So now, what's the next biggest thing that is common between all three? Well, this is b to the power of 4, b to the power of 2, and b to the power of 2. So what's common between those three? Or what's the most common? Well, I can factor out a b squared. So this can be 3ab squared. So factoring out b squared, what am I going to get? Well, I have negative 4b squared plus 3a squared minus 7. So here the idea is I'm factoring out b squared. It's the same as dividing by b squared. So this b to the 4, its degree decreases by 2. In this case here, I have b squared. Well, I'm factoring out b squared, so this reduces down and there's nothing left. And the same here. I have b squared. Well, I'm factoring out b squared, so it reduces down and there's nothing left. So now I have negative 4b squared plus 3a squared minus 7, and you notice that the greatest common factor between these three terms is now 1, so we are complete.